Good evening. Hope we're doing fine today. Yes, this is my official outerwear when I am away from the microphone and I am away from the house. Um, so you know I wear a mask, okay? That got my face all,
Oh, bless your heart.
my nose. It made my nose flat,
Made your nose bigger.
flatter.
Well, that's okay.
But
'cause I think
anyway,
you punched me in the nose.
no, I did not.
Well, I woke up with a sore nose.
Well, that don't have nothing to do with me. We're going to talk about missing kids, the 800,000 kids that are missing in the United States every year. That's what we are going to discuss. 8 million in the world, estimated 8 million in the world.
That's the ones we know of.
That we know of. But this is a little thing I saw, which you'll know I wear a mask, so don't freak. A lot of people are going to freak out because, and I don't want to argue about that. We're not arguing about the mask, okay? No. Do 800,000 children really go missing every year in the United States? 800,000 missing children, 134,000. We know that's a lot more COVID deaths now, but this was when this was put out. So let's start argue about these. Let's go and argue about all these masks some more. That was just a little funny. So, but we know COVID is very serious, and I'm not making a lot of COVID, believe me.
No, we've had some people from church die.
We've had people we know from church die. So we definitely know it is serious. And my lovely wife bought me this the other day. It is the
how about that came
blue line on the flag for the police officers, and since I'm retired, also kind of keeps my neck warm too.
Tell them what blue line. The blue line.
The blue line is, of course, as you know, is the thin blue line between good and evil that police hold on a daily basis. That's it. The wolves are the bad people. The sheep are the general public, and the sheepdog is the one that guards the sheep from the wolves. That's why you always see a sheepdog as representing the police.
That's right.
Okay. Now, got a few little things I want to put up here. This is a graphic map this year of all the missing person cases in the United States. Now, notice Florida has got a big gap in Florida. And it doesn't mean there's no missing persons cases in Florida.
Good Lord.
It's just there are some in that gap, but this is just a kind of a representation of the time that the map was put together.
California doesn't have a whole lot in the southern part.
Where?
Southern California doesn't have a whole lot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whoever put this map together, when I got it, said this. Now, this is something interesting, and I'm not making light of missing person cases, but I thought this was kind of weird. It's happened to be in the maps. These are all the Bigfoot sightings in the United States. Yeah, there you go. Somebody tell me it ain't real. A lot more in Florida, too. You see that down there?
Hey, that's just big guys walking around with their beards and their long hair.
These Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
I'll remind you that next time we're out in the woods and you hear something crashing down. All right.
I just got to outrun you.
Yeah. That was kind of a. Let me tell you how that saying kind of got funny around our one of our PDs I worked at. We had the zoo, and at night, some of the officers go in the zoo at night, and they had this big lion cage that had lions in it, of course, lion cage, and the lion jumped up on the cage as the officers were walking by, and the guy took off running, and he said, "Man," he said, "what?" He said, "Dang lion gonna get you." He said, "I know, because I'm gonna be faster than you. I may not be fast, I just gotta be faster than you." So I thought that was kind of funny.
But back to serious.
Back to serious. They did a sample of 20,500 children that reported missing, just to kind of get a sample. And this was a sample. 90% were endangered runaways. And what we mean by endangered runaways are that they're runaways that maybe are very influenced, easy to influence. Maybe they don't have a home. Maybe they're foster, just everything, an endangered runaway. 6% involve family abductions. This is the mother and father get a divorce. Father's not satisfied. Mother's not satisfied. They take the kids. 2% involved missing adults age 18 to 20. 1% lost, injured. Likewise, might be something like we've been talking about, all these people that go camping, hiking alone and get injured. 1% non-family abductions, and this is just like the kidnapping type thing.
Goodness.
I got a special person that I know y'all really love, and I've heard all about it. In fact, I could be a little jealous. No, I'm not.
Are you
I'm
talking
just
about
kidding.
me?
Huh?
Are you talking about me?
No, I'm talking about Tony the Tiger is with us.
Tony's with us?
Tony's with us.
I don't see him.
You don't see Tony?
I don't see Tony.
But I see Tony. Tony, do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. We got him.
Smile.
We got him tonight on the actual. You can actually see him tonight. So I hope everybody's satisfied. I've just heard about it all week long in emails. Tony doesn't believe it either. He doesn't believe that he has fans. So
I don't believe I have.
we're talking actually about missing people, missing kids primarily. The 800,000 that are in the United States missing every year. This is another graph. I'm going to show a couple graphs here. This is a graph too of reasons here become missing. In 2002, it was family abductions actually 1.5, non-family. Family is 6.8, involuntary loss injured 7.5. So this year it was a lot. Missing benign explanation 41%.
That's a 2002.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Yeah.
I showed.
Look how many were missing in 2002.
All right, listen.
Every year.
All right, this one is the one I just showed. This was the recently the 90% was endangered runaways.
Right.
But and did you see my Bigfoot chart?
No.
Okay. I want to show you first. This is
I just got on here.
Okay.
That one you logged me on.
Okay. This one is sometime this year. They actually runaways in the United States this year. These are mostly the points that are where they were run away from. Okay. This
Right.
is not the whole year. So like Florida and Southern California and stuff.
This is runaways
obviously.
and abducted.
Huh?
This is
total. Everything.
Yeah.
Total everything.
Right.
And of course I put this in here too. These are Bigfoot sightings. So, I don't want to make light of the kids' sightings, but the runaways, but I thought that was weird that you had that many Bigfoot sightings. Yeah.
What is that around your neck? I just
that's my mask. I was just showing them.
Oh, okay.
This is my.
I thought you was trying to get rid of your neck, or at least giving more emphasis that you have a neck or something. I didn't know.
No, this is my COVID thing here. My COVID thing, and this is kind of warm too. So,
well, as you can see,
and it doesn't look so fat. I don't look so like overweight like that.
yeah.
But it does make my nose.
We are. So we're gonna. I guess when we get together, we're gonna have to call the show a episode of TNT.
That's right, TNT.
TNT Dynamite.
Okay, well, I've got 4 people I wanted to bring up. I always like to feature something before we start talking about the runaways and also missing kids in the United States. And I told Tony, Tony went to an FBI school on this, so I want him to explain some things. But I want to feature these 4 people. One here, this is missing Amari Christian He's missing since 1/21 of 2020 from Portland, Tennessee. He's 15 years old.
Well, he looks older than that.
He does look a lot older than 15, but that is probably good and bad. If you're around Portland, Tennessee, and you've seen this guy, last seen on in January, so this is a relatively this year fairly new compared, but he does look older. Really, not much. A lot of information I tried to find on how he disappeared or anything. There's not much there. I want to show you one. This is something that I ran across. Now read the bottom of that. It is believed kidnapped by Asian grooming gangs. This one is a hoax and they said this was actually a hoax to build up anti sentiment against Asians, believe it or not.
Gosh.
And so this thing went all over the internet, and they said that's a hoax. So
Well, you
that's
kind of see there's a clue there on that one. One is it doesn't show what city or where she was abducted from. If that's the case. There's a lot of information that's missing off of that it would have to be on there for it to be official anyway.
Right. But it was just, I thought it was sad they put it out there. This one here, missing from Waterville, Maine. Waterville, Maine.
Waterville Police.
December the 16th of 2011, 20 months old. And when I put it up here, I could read this, but now I'm having a little difficult time on mine.
I thought.
Ayla Reynolds, 20 months old, was last seen when her father got her in bed. We've got some echo, Tony. Can you turn your volume down just a hair? I've got some echo. I don't know why.
How about now?
Let's see. Yeah, that's good. December the 16th of 2011, when he went into her room Saturday morning, she was not there. Let's see. The abductor, they believe, climbed out her window and left the home on, or she climbed out her window and left the home on her own, which I kind of doubt a 20-month-old would be able to do. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying. Detailed forensic investigation surrounding the home is also ongoing. I guess this was back in the day. This must have been right as they put it out. Anyone that may have seen her. So they're not sure if she was abducted or she left on her own, but I doubt a 20-month-old could crawl out the window. I guess it could, but how far could a 20-month-old?
How would a 20-month-old get out of it?
Yeah, and how was she
in Maine?
And how would she open it up too? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I found very little info on this case. Also, I'm sure if I did this the last part of the day. Go ahead.
January 12th, investigators announced that Ayla's blood had been discovered in the basement of the home Dipforia shared with his mother.
No, so probably something happened inside the home and they faked a disappearance or something. But why haven't they made an arrest?
I don't know. To this day, police say Ayla was not abducted, but they won't explain why or other indications that the search of the house and the evidence that leads them to that conclusion.
I don't understand.
They said foul play is involved.
Yeah, I would think so, but why can't they make, it's been that long ago? That I don't understand that. I understand they may not have enough evidence to arrest, but I don't know why they don't, I don't know. This right here, I thought, this one is Gandon Staunch, Colorado boy.
Gannon.
Huh?
Gannon.
Gannon, I'm sorry. Colorado boy vanishes under suspicious circumstances. Age
That is
11.
pronounced Stotch.
That's another one that they believe the stepmother is involved.
Okay, you want to read that for me, Dana? Because I can't see it. You got the big screen.
Okay, he's age 11. Was last seen on surveillance video January 27th, 2020, around 10:15 a.m., leaving his home in a red pickup truck with his stepmom, Letitia Stotch, on the 6600 block of Mandan Drive in the Lorson Ranch near Fontaine Boulevard. A bunch of other stuff. At 6:55, Gannon was reported missing. His stepmom claims he left their home at 3:15 to walk to a friend's house.
Is this the one they had on TV?
Yes.
That showed him getting to the truck or
Yes.
something like that?
And him and his stepmother had a fight that day for some reason.
And that don't sound good at all.
No.
I had a bunch of other notes.
Somebody said he was found dead in Florida in a suitcase.
Nellie said he was found dead.
Oh. Do they positively identify?
Yes, they did. I thought I remembered
all
seeing
right.
that.
Well,
he was found deceased in a suitcase in Florida.
Stepmother is in jail.
In jail.
Oh, good. At least she's in jail. I had a bunch of other cases and notes and everything, but guess what? I forgot them and left them in the printer.
No, you didn't. You picked up my notes on my computers
and left them in the printer at our work. Okay, Tony, why don't you enlighten us on what you've learned from the FBI during that school?
Well, I would say one thing that's important is just simply some of the locations that are actually known as hubs for basically the abduction locations, if you will, of where they will traffic or human traffic, of course, some of these kids and or people. And one of the places here in the Gulf states in particular was Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola, Florida happened to be a major hub site for a lot of the human trafficking where, you know, people were coming in and out of, in the sense. That in itself, to me, was extremely alarming. Most people would think, oh, it's probably something like Houston or Miami or New York City or Los Angeles, some large, humongous metropolitan city or location. But in fact, it's not. A lot of their operations that they have are in cities of maybe that size, if not smaller, where they will go and they will have these houses, if you will. Obviously, I wouldn't even term it, give it a name as a house. I would consider that to be a torture location for if they're housing or putting these people in there that have been kidnapped, whether it be children or people as in adults. So that in itself is alarming. So or should I say it this way, is anyone pretty much in a place or a location that they are safe from anything like this happening to them or one of their family members? Absolutely not. Everyone should be overly cautious with their family members as well as themselves. The alarming thing that we were getting from our education was, whereas people have always thought about the issues of missing children and or abduction of children, but unfortunately there is a large number of growing numbers of those that are of adult age. And particularly women more so than men, but men are also abducted just as well as women. So it's not necessarily that your gender would cause you to not be a victim. So that is in itself another issue or something that people should be aware of and understand.
You know, it was, I think, about 3 or 4 months ago, Birmingham, Alabama was actually brought to bear on the news about human trafficking, because they said you got Interstate 65 running north and south from Chicago to the Gulf Coast. You have I-59 that runs out of there to Atlanta.
That's correct.
And isn't there one more interstate there somewhere? It's a
well, some of their hot spots, I guess you'd say, Pensacola, because of its location to be able to move people from and across the United States quickly, easily. They can, whether they move them by car or other means of transportation that I won't necessarily go into, because there's ongoing investigations even to this day with some of the things that they know that they're doing. But simply put, there are hub places that they have identified and that they are doing ongoing investigations. And there is, you just would not believe the amount of investigations that are going on with the cooperation between, whether it be Customs, the United States Marshal Service, of course, the Organization of Missing and Exploited Children, but then the FBI, the Secret Service is involved. There's a lot of agencies that have really resourced and tasked together to help the local agencies, which if you work within a local agency, whether it be a state or a city municipality or even a county sheriff's department, they might have a case that, of course, becomes interdictional, which is meaning that it becomes an interstate case or out-of-state case. Therefore, they need the assistance of agencies that can reach across state lines and across county lines and things like that to help generate the facilities and the needs and the assessment even of these types of cases. So, again, the cities, like you were talking about a while ago, you've got Chattanooga, you've got Huntsville, you've got Nashville, things that people think just right off the bat, they think hub cities because that's where interstates connect and things like that. Absolutely, they are. But unfortunately, Pensacola was like the hot spot in the South.
It's nothing like we talked about before. It's not all about sex trafficking. That's one.
No.
And we had a situation that I know of that runs all the way from Texas to South Florida, where they get these kids from, they basically sex traffic them for financial reasons. They put them to work in these souvenir shops. They may make $8 an hour in souvenir shops, but they take $2 of that as a fee to get them the job, they said, and then they house them, 15 to 20 of them in one apartment, and they charge them $400 or $500 a month. So they're just basically raking them over the coals. And right. What I learned from the State Department, we did an investigation with them. There's not much they can do about it unless they do something like take their passports and as a means of control, and then if they use them for sex, they use them for work, taking them out of that situation, or they may be using them for sex trafficking. Showing what's that?
I just wanted Tommy and I listened to a book several years ago. Anytime we get in the car, we're listening to a book on CD or on our iPad. This is, if you've never read or listened to a David Baldacci book, he's got one out called The Forgotten, and it's set at a picture-perfect town in Florida's Gulf Coast paradise, thrives on wealthy tourists and retirees drawn to its gorgeous weather and beaches. This is the best book I've ever read about people that are being brought into America and then how they're being put out there. Just get the book if you can and listen to it. Yeah, human trafficking from overseas. It's called, the author is David Baldacci, and it's called The Forgotten.
I remember you and I having a case. You think back about maybe 16, 17 years ago now it's been. We had a case involving people that were not of the country. I'll just say it that way. And they were bringing in people from out of country into here and would house them in numbers, literally high numbers in homes. They would work them in 3 shifts. They would all share beds and all this kind of stuff. And all they were slave labor. And then they weren't even getting their check. They weren't, the company, they, like you should say, moonlighted as, they would actually get these people to, contract through a company. Then they were paying the company an hourly wage, and then the company was supposed to, honestly be an honest, legit company and pay the person. Kind of like, there's American companies today that even do that, but this was actually a foreign company, but they were bringing in foreign people to do the job, and they were actually slaves. So,
and let me say something too. I remember a case involved in this same group that one of the females told us. She says even though they got the slave type labor, the girls that ended up being the best looking of the bunch, a little bit older, some of them a little younger, were being prostituted out for I think $1,000 a night was the thing that we had, $1,000 a night to be with these girls. So
well, that's the sad part about what really goes on in society, that people do not really know what goes on. And some of the companies and some of these people that are organized crime syndicates and stuff like that, they don't really know what's going on. And until something happens that we, law enforcement rather, would get clued in on, or somebody tips us off about something that wasn't right or something that didn't seem right, and then we go investigate it, and then lo and behold, voila, this is actually a front for illegal things going on.
I lost you.
Oh, I lost me again.
What happened?
I don't know.
It has to be something that once it gets warmed up or whatever, it goes.
Put a picture of Tony.
Hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can. I'm going to take you out of it, and then I'll let you come back in and see if it does.
You want me to try to come back in, see if I can get it to reboot?
Yeah, let me.
Okay.
And I'll remove you too.
All right. While y'all do that, I wanted to say I used to have a business where I would get foreclosed houses ready to go back on the market, and we lived in a beach town, and we were sent to a duplex where both sides of the duplex had been converted to like apartments. And when we went in, the bedrooms upstairs, there was like 4 bedrooms upstairs of each one. So that was 8 of them. And there were deadbolts on the doors for people to be locked in. And we had to get the deadbolts off. And when we went in there, there were costumes for girls to wear. I believe that was a brothel, that they were being held there against their will, because there were deadbolts on every bedroom door.
Yeah, and we went into one where they used hasp locks, where they locked the doors to the outside of the bedrooms, and inside they'd have, and I'm talking about a 12 room, they'd have bunk beds where like 8 to 10 people would sleep in that room. They were sleeping on the floor, and then these bunk beds. So, they were, when you start locking people in the bedrooms, that's a serious violation of anybody's laws. False imprisonment, kidnapping, just a lot of stuff. And the thing, but they would not come to the police, but because of fear of them threatening to kill their parents back in their home country was the biggest one, or they would threaten to kill their friends, whatever. Yeah. And this happens. I know, Gulf Coast Girl, you said you were down somewhere in the Mississippi region. That whole thing, there's a certain souvenir shop that is run by people in another country that live or from another country. And they're really, I don't know if they're involved or not, that runs from all the way both sides of the coast. And I don't know about California. I haven't been out there yet, but I know for a fact it was over in Mississippi the same way, and even down in Texas the same way, all the way down to Port Aransas, Texas, or whatever, down there next to the Mexican border. And went all the way, this same type group worked those girls and guys all the way down the coast of where on the Gulf Coast. What'd you say? Oh God, what?
Read what Stacy put up there.
I don't see it. It must have been run up.
It's just a little ways up.
I can't do that though.
Stacy said she left work, Stacy said she left work sobbing last night after a customer she had known a year now confided the story of her son, who's completely messed up after being tortured, raped, and drugged by a local dentist who's dead now.
Man, I don't know. I just sometimes I think certain punishment is not good enough. One of the things I used to be scared to death of dentists, and because I went to a retired Navy dentist back when I was small, and he slapped me. And at first my mother and him didn't believe that he slapped me, but he was hurting me, and I was, of course, protesting it. And I remember he slapped me completely. And my mother did not at first believe me, but I think she saw it later. I had a handprint on my face. But okay, Tony, I got you now. Again, let me get you in here.
Again, I don't know. I rebooted.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Can you hear me?
You're a little fuzzy. Do you hear me?
He's fuzzy.
No,
yeah.
I lost him again. I lost you again. I don't understand that. Hold on a minute.
Are you hitting up over there, Tony?
I don't know what the deal is.
I think he's getting
hold on
too
just
hot.
a minute.
He's getting too hot.
I don't know. It may be. It has to be something. I sent a message to StreamYard saying I was having issues, and
He needs to be fired. Oh, the dentist? Julie, are you talking about the dentist needs to be fired?
let's see. Having issues. Yes, I clicked the button. I'm having issues. Wait a minute. Let's see. Help. Okay. Let's see. Guest.
It should be okay as long as we can hear him, they said.
Guest goes black.
Manuela asked, is there a windstorm coming your way, Tony?
No. I've got, okay, let's see. This is there. I sent them a message here in the help thing. Let's see. Let's see. Camera goes black. Maybe that's it. All right. Let's see. It says we're live chatting here. Let's see. They may not be here today. Okay. Can I join a live stream session? Just audio. Let's see. Let's see what this says right here. Since says guests can join live. Turn off the camera by clicking stop cam. Audio only. All right. Let me see if I can. I can delete this a little bit. Let me see. Camera here for you. Well, that's me. Well, go ahead and talk. They said they would just soon hear you, and if they can't see you, Tony.
Yeah, I'm much prettier in the dark.
We'll take your word for it.
Oh me.
Well, wait a minute. I went black there for a second.
Yeah, you almost went in the dark. Don't turn off the light.
We don't need both y'all in the dark. Oh, Lord.
I tried to actually do something on my screen there, but it didn't work.
This is what you get, folks. When you retire, you can't pay your power bill, so the light.
Yeah, sure. Does anybody have any questions for Tony tonight? I get them all the time from emails, but does anybody have any questions? Yeah, I went dark because I just put stop cam on mine to see. I thought I would control his side, but I could not. And also, I made a misstatement last time in our talk. I said we were close to 5,000. We are not. I thought we were closer, but we're only at like 4,100 and something. It's close for me. Yeah. I don't know why, Tony. I don't know why you went black. And I can't. I sent a message to those guys up there, but for whatever reason, yeah, I can edit your mic settings. I can kick you out of it, but I can't. I can't do. I can edit your name. I should put you Tony the Tiger up there. But I don't know why I can't. Why I can't get you back here. Hey Tony, we ran into something in the town I worked. Wait a minute. Let me say this. The town I worked for, and we were right next to Tony. We used to have a Hispanic club, and the club would bring around girls in a big van, and the girls would dance with the guys for a fee. Now we were thinking this was leading to some type of prostitution somewhere, some other time, but we couldn't prove it because we didn't have, we didn't have anybody undercover that could have went in that capacity. And I heard about this going on in Birmingham the same way.
I got several questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Beach Bum said, what do we look for if we are out and about? That's number one. Somebody else wants to know, Tony, how many sexual predators have you known and then put them behind bars? And then, is sex trafficking a subject discussed in schools? Tony would know that.
Tony, we used to be a DARE officer, so he can tell. I can address one before we go to Tony. Is we did one of the largest sting operations on child predators and arrested like 29 suspects involved in that. So I've had extensive investigations with child predators. Now, Tony, tell us about DARE and what about school? Do they teach anything?
And how do you warn your grandchildren?
And how do you warn about them?
Yeah, there's various programs that are out there. One of the ones that I thought was always the best was put on by a company that called it Teaching Children the Children Lures or Child Lures. And it dealt with a little bit of everything, whereas some would just kind of tell you stranger danger, and stranger danger programs and everything are by far pinnacle to addressing the smaller children for sure. But the children that are more, I would say, 10, 11 years old and up need to have more about the child lures. And the reason being is it even deals with trying to teach kids that people can even dress up as something that they're not, and pretend to even be a policeman for that matter, or a medical person or whatever. Then one of the other lures, it would be like that they would advertise through internet of making them famous to be like a singer or a model or something to that nature, and try to get them to come and meet them and things like that. And some of the teenagers would unfortunately fall for these types of lures because they wanted to, of course, become famous, like they see one of their song artists that they listen to, or movie people on the movies or something like that. So a lot of these type lures, and y'all can look it up about programs called child lures. I believe that there's still a business that teaches that program. But that program, it had like 14 different lures that it concentrated on, but it dealt with even stranger danger things, which is about like kids being offered, whether it be that a car pulls up to them and they offer them candy. They might have an actual animal in the car, and they'll say that the dog or the kitty cat's hurt, or would they like the dog or the kitty cat just to get them over there to the car. So there's things like that. It would literally take me about 30 to 40 minutes to really talk about all the different lures and how these lures work. But it's something that most people can get online and research some of that stuff about child lures and things. But that is what I thought was one of the better plans or programs, should I say, that was laid out. As for cases involving these types of people, I don't know, probably somewhere in the neighborhood between 20 to 50 cases that I've worked through the 30 years. And out of those cases, some were attempted, some were people that were suspects of something. And then, of course, we've investigated prior conviction people that would be involved in some sort of investigation too. So, a little bit of all that. And I don't remember what the other question was.
Well, somebody asked about the child predators. We worked those cases for the internet thing. And, what's weird, I was watching actually Dr. Phil rerun yesterday afternoon or something. I don't remember when it was. And they had two guys up there with their mothers defending them, saying they were duped into arrest them for child predator sting online. And these guys admitted that they said the things that need, what the police officers basically did. Now, what we did, we used a recording that recorded the screen and recorded everything, recorded the phone calls, recorded everything. Everything that we did was on a recording. So there wasn't anybody making excuses like, well, I thought this person was older and we never said this or that. When they got them on the screen sending all kinds of pornographic pictures and everything, then, that is just crazy. You need to school your kids on not to be talking to anybody on the internet that they don't know. Because
that by far, I would say, that seems to be the one larger aspect of these child predators today, would be that kids getting on, whether it be TikTok or YouTube videos and just whatever else. I know there's so many chat programs that kids can get on their telephone. Parents need to monitor their children of what they're looking at, what kind of programs that are on their telephone. One thing, though, that a lot of parents, if you don't know about it, you should look into it. You can put apps and or things on the phone through your internet providers to even trace the phone and track the phone, meaning that where that phone is all the time. And if you've given your child a phone, the child don't necessarily have to know that you're tracking them, but that you can track the phone to see where it is. And we even have, and I know you understand this, Tommy, we've had cases that have involved husband and wives liking to track their husband and wives to know where they went to. So these apps do exist, and you can use them for the benefit of protecting your family members. Not saying that somebody's trying to even I spy on somebody. It's more of just trying to protect the family member. and those apps can be used in that way. So that's another thing that can be done. Another big thing, though, is actually sitting sometimes your child down and actually explaining to them the type of people that exist in our society today, of what they are today, maybe than what they were back when we were growing up. When we were growing up, this was not as prevalent as it is today.
No,
So,
especially when y'all were walking home from school in the snow 5 miles with uphill all the way.
Now uphill both ways.
yeah, uphill both ways.
Yeah, and here's another thing too, that just tell your kids not to believe anything they read on the internet. That whoever they could be talking to is a lot older. I remember we talked about this on the internet under Child Predators, where I recorded a screen for you where I got on, put my name as a girl's name.
Yeah, you can anybody can get on any one of these chat programs right now and pretend to be a child and just watch what happens. And
that's what I did. I recorded it and showed these people. I didn't even talk to these people, but they were all over the place. They were hitting me up. Can you do you have Google Hangouts? Can you go to this, go to that? They were wanting, one of them said, this chat is too restrictive. I want to go somewhere we can talk openly. And now that's an adult talking right there. That's not a 14-year-old kid. You know what I mean? And
well, another thing, most people used to think that it was only men that would abduct a child, but it's been proven time and time over now. We have both women and men that abduct children. It's not just, a man. So any one individual be a suspect. Absolutely. Anyone can be a suspect in child abduction, but either male or female. And the other thing that's I would say that's important to address would be just on even the topic of including both children and us as adults. We always need to know or be aware of our surroundings, and we always need to know what is or where is a safe place and what is a place that could be of a dangerous location. And then wherever anyone chooses to go, it could be going to your grocery store or your merchandise store. You always need to notice the surroundings. Notice before you even get out of your vehicle if you notice other people in a vehicle. Notice when you come out of the store if people are sitting in a vehicle or they're standing off to the side. And then all of a sudden when they see you come out, then all of a sudden they're moving off the wall. All those kinds of things are important. That we could literally do one show probably just on that alone, talking about things that you as an individual should do to protect yourself. There's just so much information that we could talk about just from that topic. I mean, it's mind blowing. I know, even to me, after doing the multitudes of classes that I've had to go out and do public engagements and speaking arrangements for, not only, of course, school related, but whether it be Civitan or whatever kind of classes or things to teach and educate people to protect themselves. There are a lot of aspects that we could talk about and address just from that.
Yeah, me and Tony actually was in a church. They had a huge revival down in Pensacola called Brownsville Revival, but the church was right in the middle of the worst part of town, and I mean it was all kinds of robberies, prostitution, shootings, everything in that area of town, and we were running security for this church. And I'm not talking about we were guards on the door. That's not what we're talking about. We were actually with the pastors right there next to them, making sure they didn't have nuts, do stuff. And we actually had a self-proclaimed witch bring a gun to the ran up to there and was going to shoot the pastor. And we actually had to tackle her and put her against the wall and get a gun from her. So, there's all kinds of stuff that
I do remember exactly what happened with that.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
You came over there to me after I had grabbed her up as she started to pull the gun to shoot him, and you're asking me, "What are you doing?" Because I took this lady off and put her against the wall. But you didn't know what I.
As soon as he did that to him, I knew something was up, though. But we both kind of handled her. But they would take drunks that would come in, and they would just take them out the front door and call the police, just let the police take them. It was something else for sure. I mean, a lot of stuff that the public and the people that were there really had no idea what we were doing. Or what we
make no bones about it. Make no bones about this. We live in a society today that what we used to even see on a television would have been something that you would have had to have rented a movie to see, like it was an X-rated movie. But today, that very same stuff is on primetime television.
Yeah, absolutely.
The draw of these cuckoo birds out here for their minds to wander and imagine and everything else that they do, it really is, and we do live in a different time that we have to be aware of our surroundings, because there are those people that have been exposed to whatever they're exposed to do and everything, and how they are and the way they are. We have to protect our children.
Yeah. We had a statement here from Mimi J2. More concerned for children who walk home or latchkey kids learning this at school because maybe they don't have a computer or a parent is
right.
Not with it. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
That's where you do have some communities that are, well, I no lack of term other than saying this. There are some communities that really have some great outreach programs for children when they get out of school. But again, I know that that's not available for every city and location in the United States right now.
But even that, Anthony, even that is not necessarily safe. That's
no. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that there luckily there are some towns and cities that have put forth the extra effort to try to do programs to keep kids occupied and also be watched. And most of these facilities today, they have cameras everywhere inside, even there and outside the buildings, and it's a whole lot more organized than it ever was to not only safeguard the children, but safeguard everybody, so everybody can see, know what's going on, that kind of thing, which is obviously what needs to be.
And also, tell your kids, they need to trust you enough to tell you everything. Don't be ashamed to tell you anything. They're not going to be in trouble, but to always tell you the truth. That's the main.
I'll give you a real. Go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was going to say, there is a great book that I read to my children called No More Secrets for Me. And it talks about good touches and bad touches. And it brings in people in the family, strangers. And, the one thing they get kids with is if you tell, you're going to be in trouble. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I'll tell you one particular case that come to mind when you were mentioning that just now. I remember we had a case of a young boy that, of course, we got a phone call, a 911 call that he was missing. We went to the residence, started getting the, information and the intelligence of what had taken place from A to Z, time he went missing, what he was wearing, basically going through the motions of what we do in regards to our response plan. We got teams on the ground. We had the fire department. We had some search and rescue teams to come in, and we had probably, I would say, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 100 people on the ground within 1 hour of the child missing, which was really astronomical, but we were able to get it. So in searching for the child, we had already searched the inside of the house and searched around the house. And then we had teams starting to go out into the neighborhoods in various places, some wooded areas in the area, ditches, culverts, barns, outbuildings, all that kind of stuff. So everybody was looking. I remember I was at the residence, and we were at that point trying to accumulate DNA, trying to see if I can get DNA and just things like that, with previous clothes wearing, maybe hair fibers. I talked to y'all before about toothbrush, all that kind of stuff. So we were getting things in order for that. And one person decided there was a crawl space under the house that was just big enough. I know that if you can picture like the older houses, that they had the old screens down there to kind of keep animals out or whatever, and it was just enough space to have a square of the area right there under the house, and it was only maybe a foot high from the ground to the foundation of the home. Well, that little boy had climbed in there. We had been hollering for him for an hour and done everything, and the whole time when we did find him, he came out. And he said he realized that when everyone was there actually looking for him, he was hiding it first just to play. But then when everybody got there, he was afraid to come out because he thought his mama and daddy was going to spank him for having all the people look for him. And that's what he told us, when we found him. Of course, everybody was happy as all get out that we found the little boy. And the parents were not mad at the child and all that kind of stuff. But that is even yet another thing that parents, that's the reason why I bring this up, is another reason why parents need to talk to their children about even why we would look for you if you were missing, and what happens if you're missing, what all the resources that comes about to try to find you. So all those things are very, very important to address with children.
Yeah, and I say this too. You need to sit down and somebody said, have love and respect with your kids, and then you can share just anything you want to. Always tell them, don't worry about it. Anything you tell me, that it'll be okay. I don't care how bad it is. I might not like it, but I will be okay with it. It's not gonna make me quit loving you or whatever, no matter what you did or where, all this. But,
Right.
I remember working a lot of cases on a beach. We worked a town with a beach that the kids would just walk off. The parents would call them, say, we don't know where he's at. He was here a few minutes ago, and now he's not here anymore. And we were always afraid they had gone into the water, and drowned. But they'll put these four-wheelers on the beach and run up and down the beach until you then find them like a mile down the beach or something, just walking down the beach. You think about that, though. Somebody could have snatched that kid up. They could have went in the water after something, a ball or something, and then got swept out with the undertow. I mean, it's just, there's so much danger. You just got to keep your eyes on them all the time, especially when they're out there by themselves. Because people that are on this place out here, they're not all good people.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Idaho, hugs. Katie from Idaho. I bet it's cold out there in Idaho. Beautiful country, though. I bet we've been out there once. And also, a lot of people, I know when I was growing up, we rode bikes everywhere, and I think they still do.
Kids have even taken more to bikes here lately, since this COVID deal and all. I could remember when we went to go get bikes for the kids, you couldn't even find a bicycle.
Right.
But they were, that was their thing at home before. Kids were not, into the bikes because they weren't hardly at home half the time. But now that a lot of places they're at home, they have gotten bikes. So you're right. But they need to also
18 degrees, snow. I'm sorry, I got shocked there for a second, Tony. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Katie's in Idaho said it's supposed to snow 18 degrees. That's a little chilly. Yeah, you're exactly right, Tony. I mean that,
Hey, Tony, one thing that I was in one of the Gulf Coast towns, and I went into a souvenir shop, and behind the counter they had in the glass they had police badges, sheriff's badges, FBI badges, and all for sale. They were like $99, and I called the manager over there and I told him, in this area, that's the last thing you need to be selling. I don't know if you remember it, but Adam Walsh, he was at a Sears store, and his mom was on the other side of the aisle, and a man walked up to him, not in uniform, but with a badge, and said, "You need to go with me. Your mom said for me to come get you." He took that little boy that way, and he tortured and killed him.
Right.
Never know. You just never
well,
know.
that's why I mentioned that earlier. Of one of the lures, we, the programs that do and are taught, but do need to be taught is kids need to understand that just because what they perceive to be someone is who they are, they might not necessarily be that person.
That's right.
If they're not, like an example, they know who their teacher is. They know who their principal is. Those people that when they're at school, they know they're who they are. Now, your 11, 12, 13, and up year olds, they're pretty cognitive of who their neighbors are and things like that. But even in those cases, I can remember a case in particular that happened in a Florida town on the East Coast. I happened to go to a training over there that particular week, and there was a little girl that had gotten or was missing, and they ended up finding the little girl. I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, and they knew that she had rode the bus home, and they did find her backpack where she had left it at the steps of the back of the house, but they didn't know where she had went. They assumed that she was possibly went out in the neighborhood to play, and then from that assumption they thought that someone had maybe abducted her out of her neighborhood. Well, come to find out, after the case was investigated and what all took place, one of the little girl's friends, that was a male friend, and it was an older boy. The girl, I think, was maybe 8 or 9, and the boy was 13 or 14, if I recollect correctly. Anyway, though, they found the little girl stuffed in his waterbed.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
He had kidnapped her, and sad part about it was he had pretended to be out there trying to look for her and everything. So what I'm trying to say from that is, even kids that play with other kids in the neighborhood, kids need to also make sure that they have to have permission from their parents before they go even to another friend's house in a neighborhood. And that's our safeguard to protect our children that way too. So, just some things like that. I can think of numerous kinds of cases that we've studied and or worked or have knowledge about, and we try to pass on that information to prevent another child from experiencing the atrocities like that.
Yeah, and one thing too, and I mentioned this a couple of times, I'll say it again in case anybody's new. When you're at a Walmart or anywhere and you're going out to your car and you're by yourself, keep your key fob in your hand and you got an alert on the key fob. If you see something around your car out there that you don't like, or you see something strange, hit that key fob and let that thing blare. It's like a very loud car alarm, and people will look over there where it is. Yes,
and do not holler help.
Holler fire.
Holler fire, because if you holler help, they think it's a domestic and they'll get your phones out and take video of it.
Yeah, and roll tide. Somebody asked me I need to say roll tide.
No,
yes.
They said you needed a roll tide. When
I need a roll tide. Yeah, but this is actually, I was talking to Katie. I have, y'all are great, but we do have some people that leave comments saying, y'all are too all over the place. Y'all stop and talk about this. You interrupt and talk about that. It's just the way I was raised in the South. I mean, this is not a.
We're a family.
We're family. We treat y'all like family too. And if I do that, I'm sorry. I'm probably not going to change. That's all I can say. It's just the way I am. We hope so, Roland. We hope so.
Yeah, they go.
What was I talking about? Oh, and we do want to still keep everybody. I have gotten some messages about the Echo case, the woman named Echo that is missing, and I have not heard anything else from her daughter, or if anybody else is going out to help her look for them. We are also keeping up with the Michael Chambers case. Also, of course, always the Suzanne Morphew case, and several others that we are following the is it Andrea Moten that Veronica's, is it Moten? It's Moten. Veronica's nephew. We're keeping up with that also. We want to thank Tony for coming on again. I know that he's out, it's blacked out, but someday I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to actually send in a message to the software people again. I did that anyway, but I don't know what it is, what the problem is. But we want to thank him for coming on again, and we like having him here. I know y'all do because I hear about it. And we will tonight. It didn't seem like I had all my ducks in a row, but I actually had the.
I thought your chickens were in a row, though.
I'd forgotten some of my stuff and left it at the shop. And
Jax
thanks,
is watching.
Brittany, and Jax is watching again. Want to say hello to Jax. He's one of my favorite fans, and I'm just glad that he is watching.
Okay, Manuela says, Mr. T, did you hear about a mother and her 2 young sons who've gone missing in Colorado? Manuela, when did it happen?
I have not. If you could send me an email of some information, though, we will report on that on Friday.
Yeah, Rowan, his chickens laid eggs.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he does look better when he smiles, don't he?
He can be a grouch. Oh. Our daughter says if he ever has a grandchild she's going to teach the grandchildren to call him Groucho.
Groucho, yeah, that's how
they call each other and sing the song you sing.
I'm not.
Do it.
No.
Groucho Green.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, and I can't remember if the guy from Sesame Street, the one in the garbage can, or the Grouch. What's his name? The Grouch guy. He's green or he's blue. Huh? Oscar. Is Oscar green or blue?
Oscar is green.
Green.
That's what I thought.
No, you used to argue with Mindy that got
blue. Blue was the
garbage can guy.
Cookie Monster.
Yeah, Cookie Monster, and another one was bluish.
Okay.
He was kind of huge.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Mimi said something. Isn't leaving in a car sure death?
Oscar.
And fire anyway. I would.
Yeah, I wouldn't get in the car. That's the idea.
Car, yeah.
You know, if he says get in the car, I'll shoot you. Well, yeah, you're gonna have to shoot me because I'm not getting in the car.
And y'all, another good thing to do is to get the children, your grandchildren and your children in a room and just say, okay, we're going to play this game. We're going to pretend like I'm the bad guy and I'm going to try to get you out of this house, out of this room. You have to fight me to make sure that you can stay here.
You better put on the woodman suit for some kids.
Well, I know. I mean, listen, 3 almost break my hip. But that, you know, when you first grab a child, that they're going to just say, no, leave me alone and stuff like that. By the time it was over, they were screaming to the top of their lungs. They knew how to get away. And I tried to get one of them out of a room. She put both hands and feet on the door frame and she was only 7, y'all, and I could not get her out.
Yeah.
Let me give a little bit of advice on that one right there, just so we'll keep our bases covered. If you live in an apartment complex or duplex, you might want to tell your neighbor next door what you're doing before you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. That would be calling the police for the domestic. Yeah, and also too, if you ever do have somebody jump in the car with you and try to do a carjacking or whatever, wreck your car. I know you probably don't want to wreck your car, but wreck your car.
We've already gone over that. Go back and go back and read the notes.
Yeah.
We already covered.
All right. Well, we will see y'all on Friday. We are going to, I'm not sure yet what we're going to cover. I'll be honest with you. But we will see y'all on Friday. And we appreciate you being here. We appreciate everybody being
Thanks,
here.
Tony.
Thanks, Tony, for coming on. I hate I lost you on the camera again. I don't know what the deal is.
I think they like looking at Tony too.
Yeah, I think that's it too. But
when they look at me, they have to put sunglasses on because my hair is too shiny.
Yeah, that is. It's pretty bright. I have to say
least it ain't a possum.
We have a friend that tried to dye his hair, and we call him Possum. He's a mutual friend. But we'll get back on. Thanks, Tony, for coming. And
Manuela, Sabrina Walls has been located and is safe.
Sabrina Walls.
Yeah, she has been located. It's been canceled. She's
Great.
Been located, and her 2 children have been found and are safe.
Great. Absolutely. That's awesome. Praise God for that, for sure.
Amen.
Everybody have a great evening.
Wait.
What?
Are y'all okay with praying real quick for Kevin? And
Kevin.
Yes, there's a young man named Kevin that they asked for prayer for. And I think what was his mom's name?
What's the deal with him?
Well, he's the one at the dentist.
Is he? Oh God! When did that happen? Is that recently?
No. Well, it doesn't matter.
I know it's trauma related, but was that recently? And the dentist, did he kill himself? Is that how he died? Or did somebody do it? Kill him?
Okay, I can't find it, but I know the young man's name is Kevin.
All right, you go ahead. Quick.
Okay. Father, we come to you right now, and God, we know that your eyes go to and fro through all the earth, that you know where everything is and everyone is. In Psalms 139, you said that you know every word we're going to say and every thought we're going to have and every day we're going to live before we've even lived one of them. You created us in our mother's womb, and God, you know what Kevin is going through. God, you know the trauma he's been through. And God, I just pray right now in Jesus' name that you will begin to pour your healing oil over him from the top of his head to the soles of his feet. God, I pray that you will begin to let his mind work the way that you designed it to. I pray, God, that when the enemy comes in, that your warring angels will surround him and that they will not be a that the demons of hell will not be able to get to him. I pray that in the mornings when he wakes up, that he puts on the helmet of salvation to quench the fiery darts of hell. God, we know that you've got a plan for this young man, just like you do for every one of us. And I pray, Lord, in Jesus' name, that this thing that has been done to him, we know in Romans, it tells us that all things work together for good for them who love God and are called according to his purpose. And so, God, we know that if Kevin will allow you, as he deals with this, if he will allow you to use this for your glory, it will also be for his good. So, God, we just ask, and God, there's other children that are missing and women that are missing. For Susan Morphy, God, there's so many people that are missing. And I just pray right now in Jesus' name that you will begin to reveal where these people are, give these families closure. And God, we just pray that you'll keep us safe and bring us all back together again on Friday night in Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 All right. Well, let's go to come back here on
Sandy.
Friday.
The mother's name is Sandy.
Okay. Let's come back here on Friday. If you would, share the program, if you would, please. We're still trying to get to 5,000 by the end of the month. It's possible.
Okay, and one other thing, and this is housekeeping. We did get an email from someone who said that they are a Christian and they don't mind, sharing their faith, but they feel like that sometimes we're cramming it down somebody's throat. I hope you never feel that way.
We do not.
When we are asked to pray,
way.
We feel like we need to pray.
Yeah, we're not doing that. That's not how it is. Believe me, that's not.
We share our faith because it's who we are, but we are not shoving it down anyone's throat.
Okay. See you on Friday at 7. And thanks, Tony, for coming on. And we hope to get you back in here anytime you want to.
Do you have a video?
I got a short video of my dog as I come on the way out. My wife likes me to share my dogs. And we will see you back here on Friday. God bless all of y'all. Thanks, Tony.
Good night.
All right. Maggie, what's your problem? Tell me, what? What is it? Really? You got a problem? Hey, inside voice. Come here. Tell me, what's your problem?
Hey,
inside voice.
Inside voice. Come here. Here. What's your problem? You need an inside voice? What's the matter? What is it? What is it? Tell me. What is it? Use your inside voice and tell me. Do you need to go outside? Huh? You want to go outside? Whoa, I think she wants to go outside.